Alright, what's up you guys? I'm here with the WrestleMania 13 review. And, a lot of people say that this is a one-match show. I disagree. And this was in Rosemont, Illinois, and we still had the arena setting. So, we're not too evolved when it comes to stages. We just had the kind of normal entranceway that we would have back then in 97. But like I said, I don't think this is a one-match show. I think there's 3 matches in particular that I did enjoy on here. So, you could even say 4, but let's get right into this. We had the 4-way elimination match to start to determine the number 1 contenders for the tag team titles. We had the Headbangers versus Doug Furnas and Phil LaFon, the Godwins, and the New Blackjacks, which was the very early incarnation of John Bradshaw Layfield. So, yeah. That's your JBL WrestleMania debut there. This match was okay. You know how I feel about Fatal 4-Way or Triple Threat Tag Team matches. It adds to it if you bring the elimination style into it. Other than that, I think this wasn't the best choice to be the WrestleMania opener. I think the next match, I would rotate it. The next match, I'd have the opener. Because the next match, we had Rocky Maivia versus the Sultan for the Intercontinental Championship. And of course, we all know him as The Rock. So, making his WrestleMania debut here, I just feel like this would have made a better opening match. I think it had, had obviously like good vibes to it. It started things off with a bang. So I really think we should have rotated those matches. But, the 4-way elimination match, it's okay. It went on for 10 minutes. So, they got a good amount of time there to work and stuff. But there's only so much you can do with 4 teams in 10 minutes, though. So that's kind of an issue, pacing-wise. And then, of course, we had Rocky Maivia versus the Sultan with Bob Backlund and Iron Sheik. I like this match. It only went 9 minutes and 45 seconds. But, it kind of gave you that good feeling. Back then, The Rock was still really finding his place. This was before, of course, he joined the Nation of Domination, stuff like that. So, this was very early on. So then we had Hunter Hearst Helmsley defeating Goldust in a singles match. As you all know, I am a huge Goldust fan. So I did enjoy this match. This went 14 minutes. Maybe it went a little too long. But, I still did really enjoy this match a lot. So, obviously you have your very, very early incarnation of Hunter Hearst Helmsley. So, this isn't his WrestleMania debut. He made his debut the previous year against Ultimate Warrior. And this was when he had Chyna with him, and Goldust had Marlena. So you could have, Chyna and Marlena play off each other. So I thought this was a decent storyline going in. But overall, it's your average, enjoyable match. And then we had Owen Hart and the British Bulldog versus Mankind and Vader. And this ended in a double countout. And this was for the WWF Tag Team Championship. So it's kind of strange because we had the number 1 contenders match as the opener, but they weren't facing the champions later on in the night. So maybe that confused a lot of people back then. I think it's a little strange to have a number 1 contenders match, and then you're going to have a title match later on anyway, especially if it's the tag titles. But, it's not very often you see number 1 contenders match at WrestleMania. But this was 1997, so. But, this is enjoyable. This went 16 minutes and 8 seconds. I'm a huge Vader fan, so it's, cool to see him at WrestleMania. I would almost like to see, honestly, I'd rather see a singles match, personally, between Owen Hart and Vader. I thought that would have been cool. And then maybe you could have British Bulldog and Mankind instead of, obviously they win in as champions, but I feel like put the titles on someone else. I'd rather have two good singles matches instead of just this tag team match. Because I feel like these four, especially Owen Hart and Vader, deserved a singles match at WrestleMania. So I don't know. I mean, it kind of sucks Vader never had a singles match at WrestleMania. So, whatever though. It is what it is. It's still enjoyable to see these guys, all four of them in the ring together. Next up, we have what people call the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. Now, here's the thing. You either say that is, or Undertaker and Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania 25. Most of the time, that's what you'll see. If you ask me, I will always say Bret Hart and Stone Cold is the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, if not the greatest WWE match of all time, period. This is a 5-star masterpiece of a match. You also had Ken Shamrock as the special guest referee, which I feel like would have taken away from it, but in hindsight, it added to it. So that was a good decision. But this match went 22 minutes, and this is one of those matches where I can literally watch it over and over again. It is so smooth. It's a masterpiece. It's not only a physical masterpiece, but it's also a storytelling masterpiece. You know, we had the double turn. You had Stone Cold get opened up by, I think it was the guardrail, back when they had the rails instead of the barriers. And then, you know, we had the ring bell action in there. And I will just never forget the image of Stone Cold, blood running down his face. You don't see that anymore now because of the PG nonsensical bullshit. But, you know, just refusing to give up. You had the double turn. He was now the babyface, refusing to give up, you know, having that resilience. And Bret Hart, of course, turning heel. You know, heel Bret Hart, not really a fan. I love Bret Hart, but I don't like his heel character all that much. But I feel like just this was worth it. You know, if a Bret Hart heel turn gave us this, it's worth it in the end. And, you know, even building up towards it, they had foreshadowing. Like, this wasn't just a random switch out of nowhere. There was foreshadowing. There was good writing involved here. You know, this was a build-up. You know, so this is, to me, probably the greatest WWE match of all time. That's my opinion. But, you know, just from a storytelling standpoint, this trumps anything you would ever see ever again. Like, it's just, they couldn't replicate this these days. They just couldn't. So to follow that, we have a very underrated match. Ahmed Johnson and the Legion of Doom, which was Animal and Hawk still, defeated the Nation of Domination, Crush, Farouk, Savio Vega, with Clarence Mason, D'Lo Brown, GC Ice, and Wolfie D. Good old Wolfie D. Who remembers that? Chicago Street Fight. Because, of course, they were in Chicago. So, this is a very entertaining match. You know, this may just seem like a throwaway bathroom break after the submission match. But no, this was fun. Like, this is a really fun match. And, like, I don't get why people just say it's throwaway. Like, if you sit down and watch this, it's almost like WrestleMania 17's hardcore match. It's just fun. It's not really meant to tell some huge story and be some written masterpiece. You know, this was just to kind of calm fans down a little bit after the submission match and get us prepared for the main event. We have The Undertaker versus Psycho Sid for the WWF Championship. This is not the worst Undertaker WrestleMania match. This went 21 minutes. Look, yeah, Undertaker's WrestleMania 9 match was worse. WrestleMania 19's Undertaker match was worse. This was just, I am not a Psycho Sid or Sid Justice fan, whatever you want to call him. I'm just not a fan of his. I never have been. except when he does promos. That's just comedy right there. But this, to me, just was not the main event. You could have had someone else. I agree with putting the belt on Taker at the time, because Taker actually didn't have all that many world title reigns. Like, you'd expect him to have way more. But he only won the world title, I think, twice during the streak. At WrestleMania itself, obviously, he was world champion. No, he won it 3 times. So, yeah. It was 13, 23, and 24. He won the 3 world titles. And then, obviously, he had world title reigns in between those. But, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, it just really missed something. This felt like more of a, not even like a SummerSlam, just almost like a Judgment Day match or something, you know? It just didn't feel, it felt like a B main event, B pay-per-view main event. So I think it's a very bland way to end WrestleMania, but we did get a lot of good stuff out of this. But overall, I'm going to give this WrestleMania, I'm going to give it a C+, which isn't bad. If the main event was great, this would get a much higher grade. And I feel like you were just lacking, this WrestleMania just feels like it's missing something. Pacing was fine, you know, had great in-ring action. It just doesn't feel complete. Maybe I'm the only one that feels that, but let me know your thoughts down below. And for now, this has been the DVD Freak. Peace out.